Stress is not going away. Unless you're planning on living on a deserted island with no one else around you, with no distraction, then stress will be a part of your life in one way or another. And as much as we would like to eliminate all the stress from our lives, we are not going to be able to do this simply because of the way our society has evolved. So, what's the next best thing? Welcome back to Awake in Life. My name is Harmesh. I am a stress management coach and a nervous system practitioner. What we can do is create a stress management toolkit that will help us whenever we are facing those challenging and tough times in life. But you might be thinking to yourself, why do I even need a stress management toolkit? Every one of us experiences stress, and because of how individual we are, the way we experience stress can also be very individual. What makes me stressed may not make you stressed, and vice versa. And this is the same when it comes to relieving stress. Some of the tools that I might use to relieve my stress may not work for you, and the things that you use may not work for me. And it's not just about the different challenges and the way we experience stress. On one day, you may be better able to handle stress than another day where you do not feel able to handle that same level of stress. So it's important to create ourselves a stress management toolkit that we can go to when we're in these challenging times. But before you go ahead and start creating that stress management toolkit, there are a few things that you need to know. The first thing is understanding your own stress responses. You need to have a good idea of what happens when you start to feel stressed and what the things are that cause you to feel stressed. The second thing is understanding your nervous system. Now, you don't need to have a medical level knowledge of the nervous system itself, but you do need to have an understanding of what parts of the nervous system are in play when you are experiencing stress. This is because our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems respond in very different ways when we are in our stress response, and they both need different tools and different ways to regulate them so that we can start to feel that sense of safety. The third thing is recognizing your own patterns and behaviors. What happens when you feel stressed? What sort of actions or behaviors tend to happen when you're feeling challenged? What sort of patterns or behaviors start to come online when you're feeling challenged in life or when you're experiencing stress? Knowing what these are can help you to make better and often more healthier choices in how to deal with or manage your stress. And the last thing that you need to know before creating your own stress management toolkit is learning how to resource yourself. We don't want to start managing our stress at the point it becomes unmanageable. That's when we're really heading to burnout. What we want to try and do is manage our stress before it even becomes a problem, and that is done through resourcing ourselves. So when stressful situations do come along, when you feel resourced, you are more able to handle them. And resourcing really takes into the 3 points that I mentioned before. Understanding your stress responses, understanding your nervous system, and recognizing your own patterns and behaviors. These will all help you learn how to resource yourself better so that you can manage your stress more effectively. So let's run through some foundations of stress management. There are certain things that we can do that have been scientifically proven to help us manage our stress. The problem is these type of activities or advice are not what we always want to hear. Things such as drinking more water to make sure that we're hydrated, getting enough sleep so that we feel well rested, moving our bodies and being active so that we can remain as independent for as long as possible, and making good food choices so that our system and our body can run in its optimal way and not feel sluggish. I'm sure you've heard those pieces of advice on more than one occasion, but like I said, these are pieces of advice that we often don't really want to hear. But these are all key foundations, not only to stress management, but just to us functioning on a normal day-to-day basis. Once we have that strong foundation, we can start looking at other types of tools to help us manage our stress. There are lots of different ways that you can manage your stress, but I'm going to just suggest a few for you. We can use relaxation techniques and activities to help bring our nervous system into a ventral vagal state and become more regulated. Activities such as yoga, meditation, or progressive muscle relaxation can help with this. How about mindfulness practices? How often do you watch TV or scroll on your phone while you're eating? How often, when you go for a walk, do you really take in your surroundings? Or how present do you feel in your day-to-day life? When we are not focused on what we are doing or being mindful, our nervous system isn't able to slow down and go into its rest and digest state. Instead, what we're doing is putting our body under more stress by trying to do too many things at once. So any type of mindfulness practice that has you focusing on what you're doing is an excellent thing to have in your toolkit. Social and emotional support is another great tool to have in your stress management toolkit. Our social nervous system needs us to co-regulate with the people around us. So regularly spending time with family, friends or loved ones, or going to people for help and support when you are feeling that life is that little bit more challenging than usual are really important for this co-regulation and our social nervous system. And you don't have to get this support just from those people that are close to you. You can also look at things like therapy groups or support groups to get that connection and really help you with your stress management. Sometimes our stress needs us to make lifestyle choices. I mentioned earlier in the video some of the foundational things that we need to build ourselves a good base for managing stress. We can go further on that foundation and look at our lifestyle and other behaviours and activities that we do on a regular basis and look at whether they are supporting us or hindering us in our stress management. We may have to make difficult choices or sacrifices in the short term, which will provide a longer term benefit when it comes to stress management. And the final suggestion I have for you is somatic practices. There are different types of somatic practices to help us manage our stress. It really depends on the state that your nervous system is in and how your body is responding to stress as to which somatic practice to use. These are practices such as shaking, moving your body, self-soothing exercises, or behaviour switching techniques that help to move you out of a stress response into more safety. So let me just summarise those few things for your stress management toolkit. Relaxation techniques, mindfulness practices, social and emotional support, lifestyle changes, or somatic practices. These are all good things for you to look at and choose and discern for yourself what you want to include in your stress management toolkit. And I want you to remember that stress management is not a one-size-fits-all. As I said earlier in the video, we are all individual and we all respond and experience stress in different ways. So our toolkit is going to be as individual as us. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that it has been helpful. I do help individuals learn how to manage their stress more effectively and by making healthier choices in life, as well as restoring their nervous system. If you would like support that helps you to do this, then please feel free to reach out to me. I'll see you in my next video.